What's up, everyone? I am Jamie with Three Little Goats Homestead, and it is the end of the year, which means I have been doing all of our calculations for how much we have spent on the farm, how much we have made on the farm. So today we're going to go over how much it actually cost us to feed over 60 animals on our farm. Now, every animal on our farm does have a purpose, whether it be for milk, meat, or cleanup. So even though the amount seems pretty high, what we profit from them as far as our milk, our butter, our cheeses, our meat, fly control, it actually is fairly cheap compared to going to like the grocery store. So without further ado, let's get in to see how much we spent this year on feed. Now, if you are new here, we raise Nigerian dwarfs for milk. We raise Jersey cows for milk as well. We also raise out at least one steer a year for meat. We raise out rabbits for meat, and we raise out pork for meat. So that is what we raise. Every animal on our farm has a purpose, whether it be for meat, milk, or eggs and cleanup. Our chickens, we get eggs from them, but their majority of their job is strictly for cow cleanup. They follow our cows around and clean up all the poop. So that's why we keep them around. So let's get in. Now, I will preface this by saying this is kind of the average. So like this year, we raised Cheech and Chong and we butchered them out early in the year. And we didn't have pigs for a couple months, and now we have Linny and Squiggy that we are growing out for next year's butcher. So I'm just averaging 4 pigs because that's what we have grown so far this year. As well as our rabbits, sometimes we have 3 breeding, sometimes we have their kits. So I just average at about 4 rabbits for the year. And then with the cows, I kind of fluctuate with cows. Like we had Uno that we butchered out. We were raising out a steer for our neighbors because their bull was picking on them. So I calculated that into our cost, and I averaged it out for 6 cows because sometimes we had less than 6 cows and sometimes we have more than 6 cows. How many cows do I have right now? I think I have 7 right now. Got 1, 2, if you don't count the calves, I have 7. I haven't counted the calves into our calculation for feed because right now they are on milk. So it's not really costing me anything. So I figure since I'm over here, I would start with the goats. Hi, baby. Hi, sweet girl. So we have 18 goats that we raise year round. They are our breeding stock and our milking stock. So for them, I had spent exactly $1,053.95 for the year to feed them, which equals out to about $58.50 each to feed for the year. So say Rogue right here, it cost me $58 to feed her, which breaks down to even down to more to about 15 cents a day for each goat to be fed. Hi, Rogue. Now I'm not counting the endless amounts of clothes that they have damaged by chewing on them. We won't count that against you, will we? Now this year we did end up raising 36 bottle babies, but I'm not calculating anything for them because most of them went to new homes while they were still on the bottle, and their milk was kind of technically free if you think of it as farm math because the goats fed them. So their feed cost for the big goats, we calculate it as free for the little goats because it doesn't cost us anything to feed them goat milk because we have it on hand all the time. Now we are keeping those 2 girls, so next year they will be added into the feed bill cost. I have no idea how many chickens we actually have. We have the original layers from when we lived at the old place, then I got new layers, then we got a couple of Delawares. So I'm just going to average it at about 30 because I'm sure we have probably lost some to some predators, and I have no idea how many we actually have. So for the year, for the chickens, we spent $437.69 on feed to feed all of our chickens. And so that actually comes out to about $14 per bird for the year, which equals about about 30 cents a bird a day, which is actually not 100% accurate because we did raise 50 meat birds this year as well. Now, as for hay costs, I really can't give an accurate account how much we're going to spend on hay for this year. We've already fed, well, they're working on their second bale right now, but if you've been around for a while, you guys will know that we usually will have at least half of our property hayed for us, and we pay a friend to actually do that for us. And then this year we had, I think, about 15 round bales delivered just so we had a little bit extra. So for hay alone, we spent $1,235. Now, will they go through all of that hay this winter? Probably not, but we would rather have extra and not worry about it. Now, for the square bales for the goats, we actually got over 100 square bales last year on our second cutting. So we still have square bales from last year that the goats are chomping down on. So we didn't have to buy any square bales for any of the goats, which was kind of nice. Picked up, so I'm trying to use Sassy as a wind block. But as far as feeding these girls, the cows obviously are our biggest feed bill every single month. Huh, Sassy? You're a big girl. You gotta eat a lot of food. But with Jersey cows, you literally get what you put into them. So we always want to make sure that they have a lot of high quality hay, a lot of high quality alfalfa pellets, because if we give them high quality minerals in alfalfa pellets, they will give us high quality milk, which helps pay for all of this. So with the cows averaging about 6 cows for the year, we spent $2,807.30 on feed, which is a lot when you calculate it. But that averaged to about $467 for each cow for the year, and it averages out to about $1.28 a day per cow. So about the cost of an inflated cup of coffee nowadays is what it costs us to raise one cow, which is kind of nice to think about. So the reason why I'm not calculating in the hay cost for this year yet is because all the hay that we have bought this year was bought this summer or cut our property this summer, and we haven't used any of it yet. So even though I've spent over $1,200 in hay for this year, we may not necessarily use all of it, so it will actually roll over into next year's feed costs. And this year we didn't really use a whole lot of round bales in the early winter because we only had, I think, 3 cows for most of the winter. So we only went through just a handful of round bales. So it was a very minimal cost. If we want to add it in, I would say we probably spent about $200 in hay for the 2023 winter. So we can add that in if you wanted to, just to make it a little bit easier but all the hay we have now that we've spent the $1,200 on has. All right, and so for the pigs, hey Lenny, hey Lenny, Lenny, can you keep it down, Lenny? You're not gonna keep it down, are you? Okay. So for the pigs, we actually raised 4 pigs total this year. We had, like I mentioned before, we had Cheech and Chong, who we butchered out in early spring, and then we took a few months off from pigs, and now we have Lenny and Squiggy. So for this year, we have spent $176 in feed, which equates for 4 pigs down to $44 for each pig for the year, and about 12 cents a day for each pig for the year. Oh my goodness, Lenny. You are so loud. Now, unlike last year where we raised out Cheech and Chong, who were coonies, and they took almost a year and a half to grow out to weight, this year we decided to grow the Berkshires, and they are only 4 months old and they are huge. So they'll actually probably get butchered out in early spring. So we won't be feeding them for much longer, which is nice. And then we have, of course, the Hippity Hops. This is our newest buck. And then we, right now, like I said earlier, we've got 3 rabbits that we average for our breeding stock. And then, of course, we'll have our grow outs as well. Like this little nugget, she is pregnant and I think due next week is when we put her nesting box in. I'll have to look. But for our rabbits, I averaged 4 rabbits, and we spent $146 in feed for the rabbits last year, which equals out to $36 per rabbit for the year, and 9 cents per day per rabbit for the year. So they're not the cheapest animal on the farm, but they are by far not the most expensive either. All right, so in conclusion, to feed 62 animals, we spent a lot of money. But I didn't include Alexa and Alexi, and I didn't include Sage and Freya, our 2 dolings that we retained, because they are still on milk, so I haven't really fed them. They will be calculated for next year's feed costs. Hi, girls. You guys, in girl math, you're free, because I don't have to pay for food for you. It's science. All right, so let's pull up my little handy-dandy spreadsheet. So this year in total, for just feed, and this includes our hay cost as well, it came out to $6,142 that we have spent on feed for 62 animals this year, which is a lot. And if you don't calculate the hay, it comes down to a little bit less, which is nice. So to include the hay, we spent an average of $16.83 per day to feed all of these animals. Hi. 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 Now, if you don't count the hay cost, it goes down a little bit, and our cost to feed all the animals for the year goes to $4,907, which is even better in my opinion. So that would actually come out to $13.48 per day to feed all the animals if we don't count the hay. So no matter if you look at it with the hay or without the hay, it's still a lot of money to spend on animals. But the amount of meat and milk and cheeses and butter and everything that we get from all of our animals, it is valued way more than that. So I will take my high feed bill any day of the week. Now, if you're wondering how we keep our feed bill low, I do have a post or a video going over all that I will link somewhere up here or down in the description box. I know I'm horrible at actually doing that, but I will remember to do it. So that video goes over how we kind of try to keep our feed bill as low as possible, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. It really does help. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We put out videos every single week, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.